call. It is the 22nd of November. I'll be facilitating today. And let's start with how you're feeling, your focus for this week, and your intentions for this call. And I'll give it to Hannah.
All right. So let's see. I am feeling good, and like it's been super nice to have my family. I told Mitch, but I'm in Colorado in the mountains with my family for Thanksgiving. So that's been really. And then let's see. My focus for this week is to work with Algene on. She's tracking down ETH addresses for the gift drop sheet that hopefully will be complete soon. So I'm just like double checking that those look all right. And then on top of that, let's see. Yeah, that's my biggest focus for the week. And then intentions for the call are to listen to everything that's going on, give a little update on the PAN payments, and hear any feedback regarding the process. And let's see. And then so like I have a working situation. Should I say that like now or
is anybody else, is her voice cutting out a little bit for you? It's like yeah, you're a little bit too far away from the mic or something. I don't know.
Okay, is this better at all?
Yeah. There was a cliffhanger because it sounded like you had something important to say.
So I do have an update on kind of like my work agreement, because that might be shifting, and I just didn't know if I should bring that up now or if there's like somewhere later that we should put it.
Let's throw it in the agenda, and we'll keep doing the check-ins. So if you want to pass it.
Yeah, I'll pass it to Mateo.
Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon. Hope you have an amazing week. Start. For this call, I think that I'm interested in syncing with all of you. My interest for this week and are hopefully to get many pages of the design ready, integrating some stuff that are missing on the new version regarding the wallets mainly. Ramin and myself are working on that. And yeah, nothing much to add. I just want to always be on sync with everything that we're deciding here. Love you all. Pass it to Forrest. Happy to see you again.
Hi everyone. Wonderful to be here. My maternity leave has come to close, and I'm excited for the new chapter. And thank you so much for your time, and I'm just excited to be being back in. My intentions for this week are to step on what I've missed in the last few months, and I can be supportive. It's going to come over today, and we're going to jam, set me up, and I understand that I will be supporting with project verification and maybe also the implementation for Giveth. And I think that's about that. I will pass it to Marco.
Thank you, Forrest. Hi, everybody. I'm feeling good today, and I hope I will be feeling good this week as well. Intentions for this call to discuss the working group PAN payment allocations and the next steps for that. And then also focus for this week is mostly I will be supporting the devs on any design that's needed and continuing the redesign of the missing sections and pages for the Giveth.io. That's it. Pass it over to Donna.
Hi everyone. Hi Forrest. We are happy that we have you. and congratulations on new role that you have. I don't have any distractions. I'm feeling good, and my focus on this week is on testing the IO and preparing a poll. So I have one-to-one session with each of you to test the IO, and we want all of you to test the dApps and also project verification. I hope that we have more projects coming in for verification this week, and that's it. I pass it on to, because I was late, I'm not sure whether maybe Mia.
Thanks, Donna. Yeah, I'm feeling okay, a little bit stressed. I'm traveling on Friday back to South Africa for a month and a half, so just packing everything up, and that's mainly my focus there. And yeah, our intention is just to stay synced and take notes for you guys. I'll pass it to Ashley.
Hey guys, happy Monday. Good to see you back, Forrest. I'm feeling pretty good this week. It was nice to have a little break and get to just like catch up on things in my personal life. And my focus this week is just kind of, I really want to go through the forums and just kind of like get updated on everything there, as well as like help with Forrest's onboarding into project verification and just kind of getting her caught back up with what's going on. And my intentions for the call are just to kind of get back in sync, see what's going on with PAN payments, as some of you have already mentioned, and yeah, I will pass it to Frischelle.
Everyone, happy Monday. I'm feeling great, and my focus for this week is to continue discussing with project roadmaps with the other PMs, and also start handling the payments for November. And then my intentions for this call is to just say some reminders regarding the body review and the voting in our Give for your role proposals. And I think that's it for me. I'll pass it to Musaidi.
Hi everyone. I'm feeling good. I'm right now. I'm working on the adding some hints for developers so they know how to develop things to be responsive in different screens. And I want to stay in the loop, see what's happening here, and I think everyone's done. Can I pass it back to you, Matteo? Mitch.
We just had a Kai join us actually, so Kai.
It's cool. Hey guys, don't have so much to say. I'm here to get updated as always, not distracted. Can change any second. I miss you, Mitch. Please continue. I always do. I always do.
I'll take it. My intentions for this call is just to get synced back up after my vacation last week. I'd love to talk about PAN payments. There's lots of open, inconclusive issues I can see in the Notion doc, so maybe just get some clear action items or some closure on those. And so then, I think everybody's gone. Without further ado, we should be able to dive right in. So, a couple things I heard from the priority agenda items from check-ins was the Hannah, your special announcement regarding your work agreement. So if that's all right, we can start with that if you want to say what you have to say.
Yeah. Let's see. Can you hear me first of all? Is this okay? Okay, awesome. So yeah, let's see. So over the last month, I had mentioned at a meeting I came hours to part-time, but I have had like another kind of life change, and I think I'll just be kind of going back to not a current contributor after this like next month, but just volunteering still. So I'll still be around and still helping out with different things, but I had a like pretty like awesome like opportunity pop up that I think I have to take because it kind of aligns more with like my kind of like career like goals, I guess, and then also just like makes life a little bit easier financially. So that is kind of what I wanted to announce, but I'll still be around. I love all of you and I want to like still help out as much as I can. And I also cleared with them that I would be able to still like work on Giveth stuff. So still like can, you know, help out and keep up with my responsibilities, and then also like have time to train people if anyone wants to take anything over. But I won't be disappearing. So that's it. And it's so bittersweet because yeah, I love the team and all of you, but just this popped up and it would make life a little easier in some ways now. So I had to take it. But yeah.
Cool. Well, I mean, congratulations. It seems like a really nice thing that's happened. Then I guess following up, like maybe we'll just have to look at your work agreement and make any revisions that you need to make. And if you need to offboard any tasks, then we'll go from there. Cool. All right. Anything else around that? Okay. The next one here, I actually want to save that for later because I think it's going to take up a good amount of our time. And maybe just skim through some of this easier stuff here from last week. So we'll do the WG PAN allocations, which I think Marco and Ashley mentioned, both in their check-ins a bit later. Regarding this Optimism 20K, was there anything that you guys reached last week regarding this, or is it still kind of a hanging thread? Okay. What do you guys think? Should we move this into a GitHub issue? Should we just leave this on the thing? Make a forum post?
I don't get really, like, this, someone from Portugal is a very, like, if we don't find anyone from Portugal, we would, of course, also need to pay tax on that if it's declared as income.
Yeah,
I guess
that was
could do it in the new year, but even that is like 3 months out, and it would be up to half in income tax. Yes, that's the reality.
That was actually the issue here. So we're looking for someone who would either claim it as tax income because, you know, someone might need it. I don't know, but I like, you know, it's just we need to find someone actually to claim that money. So I kind of suggested, yeah, maybe we could find someone from Portugal. I wouldn't put this in a forum post at all. I would just leave it here in the agenda until the next time, and just raise this issue one more time, every time on the call, for everybody to think about if they have someone, if they know someone, or have a friend, or I don't know, any other solution that might pop up. So. Yeah.
I have a friend in Portugal. I'm just curious what exactly, like, do they need to come work for us for like a period of time?
I think, yeah, go ahead, Mitch, sorry.
It's just kind of a weird thing because it kind of has to go through them. They have to do the KYC, and then like maybe they'll get a cut, and then a significant portion comes back to the Giveth DAO, I guess. And so somebody has to be willing to claim that 20K as income, but then, you know, the majority of it is going to go back into the Giveth DAO.
Yeah, so as far as I know, Portugal has like 0% tax on crypto. So what we would need to do, I guess, before even asking someone for a favor, would be to map out the process, what it's actually needed from that person, from us, from everybody involved, so that we know exactly, you know, what's the process, and to explain that person. Maybe offer them a little cut, you know, hey, you're gonna get like 0.5% or 1% or something like that, you know, as a favor. And that's basically it, you know. So as a next step, I would map out that process so that it's clear for us what's needed to be done, and also for that person asking them that, right? And then, like, if Forrest, I think Forrest mentioned, was it Forrest that had a friend?
Yeah,
then
I have a really good friend that's Portuguese, and if not her, I'm sure she has a friend that would be down.
Yeah, and then we can approach that person and ask them that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, just then from there, like somebody needs to champion basically creating these terms. And so I don't know, Marco, if you feel confident with that.
No, totally not.
Okay. Does anybody else feel like taking on mapping out some of these terms? This sounds like a grift, to be honest, but if anybody wants to do it.
I don't think like the terms like that we set, like what is the cut that we're going to give that person, that's up to us, that we can decide on our next governance call. But I think what is more important is to actually dive into the flow of claiming those funds. Where do these funds go initially to that person? What does that person need to have? Like what kind of account, a legal entity? Does they have to do a KYC? What documentation they need to provide? Like just like a bullet list of items that need to be done in order to actually claim the money. I think like that process needs to be mapped out, and I would like someone to champion that part of the process. The actual reward for that person can be decided on the next governance call.
And who would be the person with the most information then? Griff, likely? Who's actually the recipient of this? Is it Griff's name on the bill, or who knows more about this optimism?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It says Giveth. So whatever Giveth, like whatever we provided there as our address or legal entity or just as a DAO or whatever, I don't know. Yeah, we definitely need to investigate that a little bit further.
Well, what I know is I don't think this is time sensitive, so we probably don't need to spend a good chunk of this meeting on it. But I'd like to figure it out when there's more voices here. So, does anyone else have anything more to add to that point? We'll table it for next week, it seems. Okay. Giveth ENS, I think this is from last week as well. And I'm assuming this is referring to the airdrop. Is there anything that needs to be done regarding this from last week? No. Okay. All right. And then this as well, it looks like there was some discussion around the ETH that was received from the Rainbow Wolves. It looks like there was a bunch of great ideas and they need to be put into a forum post, but it looks like that forum post never materialized. So what I see here is we need somebody to take all these ideas and just make it into a forum post, and then we can continue the advice process there. Is there anybody feeling confident enough about this issue to just make a forum post? Okay. Well, you can just tag me on this and Mia, and I'll make a forum post for it then. And then getting down the list there from last week, this reward security vulnerability. Looks like Ashley, you were the last person tagged on it. Do you have anything to say about this?
Sorry, I couldn't find the mute button. Yes, I gave the ETH address to Griff, so she should be on the list to get the gift drop.
Audio. Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, your audio cut out a little bit there, but continue.
Yeah, I gave her ETH address to Griff to put on the list for the airdrop.
Cool. So then this person will get an airdrop then.
Yeah, that's what we agreed, and I don't think it was maybe last week's call or the week before, but yeah, that we would just give tokens, because right now to pay out any kind of ETH is like the reward. The gas would be just as much as the reward would.
Okay, and she said yes, she's cool with that?
Yep, she's cool with that, and then she just asked that we make a review on her LinkedIn account and so I'm trying to get access to our LinkedIn to be able to leave her a review there. But everything seems good. She seems happy.
Okay, cool. So then the last thing before we can knock this out is just the LinkedIn review.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then that's pretty much it, with the exception of these PAN allocations, okay? And so it seems like what I understood from the issue was that when we were testing out the new PAN payment process, the working groups were distributed percentages, but there was some confusion of how those percentages were arrived. The working groups having like multiple people and all the crossover and all that. So I noticed, Marco, first you made the comment, so maybe you just want to add to the discussion starting?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Well, I also responded to Lauren's comment. Like she found it the old version better. I think like this version is better for me because right now I'm just focused on let's say quote my working group, and I know how many people there are, and I just see the number of PAN that got distributed for my working group, and I then divide that based on my judgment, my impression on how everybody performed for that month, which I think is great. It's really simpler because they're just like a couple of working groups. It's not like a huge list of people that I have to go through and so on and so forth. What I did not understood was how we came to the original allocations for each working group. Who decided that? Like, for example, who decided that the development working group should get 23%? The other working group should get 20, and that these kind of things. So I would like to know how how we came to these numbers actually. And the second thing is each working group has, let's say, core contributors, number of core contributors. Let's say I'm going to refer to the design working group. We have 3 people right now, and then occasionally other people may jump in and out from other working groups. But if I noticed there was number 5 for design, but last month there was just 4 of us because I think Lauren contributed a little bit to our working group. But if I change the number from 5 to 4, we get actually less money. I mean, we get less PAN. So, and that it messes up the whole other allocations. So I'm wondering, can we fix the number to just core contributors and then later add on maybe more, or a separate kind of section for adding extra rewards for people who were just contributing a little bit during that month, so that it doesn't mess up the other allocations? I don't know. So these are 2 questions. First question, how we got to these originally, who decides that? And then the second one, to kind of fix this issue of number of contributors in each working group.
Yeah, so how we got those numbers was just kind of based on the prior discussion. It seemed basically like the numbers just calculated by, we got the allocation for PAN for that 4-week period, and then just divided. I asked each person how many contributors you have in your working group, put in those numbers, and then it was just basically split the PAN divided by the number of basically if you have one contributor to your working group and then another working group has 2, they'll have twice as much PAN, so the average per contributor is the same, but then they can allocate it separately. So I think the biggest issue with that would probably be I like what you said about how there's core contributors and other contributors. So maybe we could create different parameters for split 75% of the PAN to core contributors and then 25% other contributors, or any parameter there we could decide. This just seemed like the simplest way for the first trial of it, and now we're kind of finding out what's wrong. Yeah, also an issue is, if you like change it, it does change all the other distributions. So we kind of have to have that set in stone before sending it out to working group stewards. So that's another good call out. And I think that could be good. I know that Lauren thinks that the other way was better. Personally, I guess I think this way is simpler and better because this is just a bonus payment, it's not necessarily worth like hours and hours. And then I know Lauren also had, maybe it is, but it seems like in the past it's been a huge time consumer and consumer of resources for everybody. Lauren also mentioned that she thought maybe a few like leaders of Giveth could allocate PAN to everybody. I feel like that's what we tried to do before, and in charge of it. And then we also had a meeting where it was like Ashley, Mateo, Lauren, and they each had a column and then also like divvied out PAN, and there were complaints in that process as well that it felt like they didn't know what everyone was contributing because there's different working groups. So I feel like, there's no perfect process with anything that's kind of opinion based and like a manual adjustment and judging people's contributions, which is not just qualitative, it's also quantitative. So those are my comments. Happy to hearing more. Also, like I had made those decisions just because Griff had told me like someone needs to make a decision here, and like I've heard all of the complaints from everybody, so just choose what seems simple and like we'll run with it and like go from there. So this is great feedback, and like let me know what you guys think of that, like switching it to maybe core and additional contributors, or what parameter allocations you think there.
One more thing to add just before everybody else give their comments is I don't think the formula of dividing up the PAN allocation based on the number of contributors will actually work, because I don't think that will actually ever be fair. Because, for example, the development team, the product circle, whatever, will most always do the most of the work around this. Like we're building the app, we're developing all this stuff. There's a number of contributors there. Whereas without, like, I'm not saying the other working groups are not doing their job, of course, and it's a huge effort. But most of the time, the development will do most of the work. And in some phases, communications and community will maybe do more work. Like once we finish all the development and we do some maintenance, right? So like in both cases, the actual formula that just divides it up, it's not right. It does not account for that. It does not account for a cycle where development does a huge effort, and then the other cycle, like 6 months from now, where the development just does maintenance and the communications and governance does, the huge amount of work.
Yeah. Do you have a recommendation?
So I don't think like that. Yeah. So recommendation would recommendation would basically be, it has to be like a human input there. Us getting together and then like maybe deciding on, or maybe just, go ahead, Mitch.
So I hear what you're saying, and I saw that the way that Hannah had structured it, the last process, where basically we evaluated each other and then we took like an average of that. So is there no way that we could just do that with the working groups as stewards?
Yeah, we could try that for sure. So then the working group stewards will just meet and then decide how much each working group gets from the total PAN, and then from there allocate 2 contributors.
Yeah, then the steward themselves allocate to their contributors, but then everybody has a chance to think like, okay, what did design do? What did they do? And like use their best guess, and then we take an average of that, so that at least there's like some amount of consensus between the organization, I guess, instead of just a couple people deciding it. And then obviously there's room for advice process, like people can make their case and we can adjust and hear each other out before anything's set in stone.
Yeah, we can try that next time. And I will make a doodle poll for, or I'll just schedule a meeting because I think we're pretty far. We're like 2.5 weeks in advance. So I'll make a doodle poll and schedule a meeting so that we don't run into it getting like, because it's so hard to get us all to be able to meet, which is another, I think minimizing the amount of meetings that all the working groups have to go to is just good for time and efficiency.
It can be asynchronous too. Like I think we did the last one over the course of like 3 or 4 days, and you know we have a stewards channel. Like it can mostly be done asynchronously. I want to move on. I want to hear if there's anybody besides ourselves that has any more comments to add to this issue. Ashley, I know you mentioned it as well. Or anyone else?
Being made around the current process that was happening, and I don't know. I kind of made a comment in one of the calls before, but I kind of feel like the pan distribution could almost just be only for people who don't receive regular rewards. So that way we get new people contributing in other ways other than like being on a salary. The people who want to come in and just like help here and there can still get rewarded for the value that they're contributing. But that would be a whole different process and like not exactly on topic.
Do you guys think that that's something that we should vote on or not? Because I know that then the like counter to that is like when some people accepted current contributor rewards, it was mentioned that pan was also paid. So that's kind of, they were like expecting it, but then also, let's see, there was one other. Oh, and then the other thing was that people who aren't getting regular rewards can submit traces. So like, I know that was just the kind of to that ask, but do you guys think that we should vote on that or not, or just make a decision? Because Griffith kind of told me to just make decisions and not vote on everything because it gets out.
Maybe a compromise would be to have the stewards use that allocation to their discretion. So if we have just really lots of transparency of who in each working group is getting regular rewards, when stewards see the contributors who aren't on regular rewards, they can see that, okay, well, this person is not getting paid, and so they can allocate more. At least then we have transparency of who's getting paid regularly and not, and then the rest goes up to the stewards instead of
that makes
more. Yeah. Okay. But is that clear, or is there any more suggestions or strong objections to try it out?
Hello, sorry I'm joining late. Happy to see you all. Happy to see you.
Oh, it's a Monique.
Can you hear me? Yeah, it's me. Sorry, I'm right back from vacation. I'm not totally in your discussion, and happy to see your faces. My comment is just that, we have to set KPIs after all of this discussion, The pen distribution should be based on KPIs, it's not a regular payment. So we expect to do something. If we not, we have to reward and have a tool to reward people, or, and that is the pen distribution, I think. So after all of this discussion, it just, a little bit off topic, but I suggest that we have a system of KPI setting, and based on that, we can measure also ourselves, with our performance. That's we have to, for example, bring that much users and we couldn't. We have to finish that part of the project and we couldn't. For example, the customer satisfaction. We don't know. We don't have any data. For example, for communication, we don't have any data. If we just want to move from judgment to real world, we have to set KPIs or OKR or what, etc. That's just my comments.
May I just add something to that? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. All right. Cool. For the we lost Mitch. Hold on a second.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll ask Mitch. Hold on a sec. He's probably gonna reconnect again. Let's wait for him for a minute. There's Mitch again.
All right. Wow,
We waited for you.
that was inconvenient, huh?
No, it's fine. No worries, mate.
Okay. So Monique, you're talking about KPIs, and we need to set them as a working group. And I think this is something we talked about a long time ago, if I remember. So I guess, should we get the ball rolling on this? Like, for the stewards that are here, like, is this something that seems feasible for you guys to set up KPIs for your working group?
I think Marco has something to add first. Yeah.
Yeah. I love the idea of KPIs, but for the product itself. So for this, I was also advocating for this. It's a broader discussion and coordination and organization around actually setting those KPIs. I would definitely use them for our product, but not for us as human beings. The reason why I left the Web 2 world and everything else is because of measuring people and their performance. I don't want to do that, and I don't want to measure anybody here and then say, hey, you worked. You have a measurement of good work for this month, so you're gonna get paid that amount of money or whatever. I don't like that, and I don't want to be working like that. So for the product itself, yes, but for the success of the product, right? How do we measure the success of our product, but not for people?
I think you've got a couple of good points there, Marco, and it seems like, Monique, you've opened up a broader discussion. I think we should make a forum post for this and talk about those KPIs. Oh, go ahead, Kai.
One thing to say, because I'm also on Marco's page here, and going back to the first, to the first installments of this, it was Reward DAO. And it was always supposed to be a hook, for people that are here that can be rewarded for being here, because people joining Giveth, even joining only our chats, they end up doing something. Not all of them, of course, but many. And we should differentiate. There is another thing that can be run with the KPI, which is kind of bounties. So if we sometimes have stuff that we don't cover within the team. Let's say we decide to do an NFT, like very stupid, and nobody can draw. So we would say to the community, hey guys, we would like to make an NFT. Who can draw? Can you submit something? We can, this is the price, 200 pen, whatever. And hard KP eyes are really, they were never our strong suit. Maybe we can improve that with you, Monique, but yeah.
And so I just want to keep us moving here through the other points, but I see that there's a lengthy discussion here, and so it would be cool if we make a forum post for KPI tracking, working groups or products, all that stuff. And hopefully we'll have more information.
And then also currently, who has the power to review PAN payments? Because I haven't gotten my PAN payments for 5 months, and it's not because they're under the limit. But is it just Danny that can review those, or does someone else have the power
You'll have to look on Trace who's the reviewer for your Trace. And I'm assuming it's Danny or maybe it's Willie, but it should be there on Giveth Trace who your reviewer is.
Okay, got it. I had chosen anyone, and I think it's Danny. I've reached out, but okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay, let's keep rolling here. And now proposals in the forum here. We've got one by Monique, account and wallet address relation. And this one looks like you put up a couple days ago. And I don't know if you want to talk about that. You're identifying user types and use cases and all that.
Yeah, I type it just a couple of hours before my flight. And I'm back today. You know, I don't have enough time to review it. I just read your comments there. Your points was great. You know, I had to edit. Some of the use cases. I missed some of the use cases of the product that we plan to do it. We have to discuss it with Marco. You know, I need some Marco's comments and design team comments more on it. But I think we have to change the header type, especially for the type 3 users. Because there's just a wallet address there up there. And if you talk about the accounts, I think we, consider it that, hey, you're in this account. But I got all the points from the Marco and all of the stakeholders from the last meeting that we have. That was superb. That is they say that we need to have account sign in and sign out, and so we revert the onboard.js, and Ramin is on it right now. Go ahead, Marco.
Yeah, thanks. I would just like to invite everybody on this call to take a look at this forum post. Just read the introduction to get the idea of what's going on there, and then comment from your user standpoint, like you as a user of a Web 2 and also now Web 3. What do you think about this issue? This is not about how we're going to solve this technically. Of course, we're going to discuss how we're going to solve this technically. But it's a UX issue, and I would love to get your feedback from that. What do you expect as a Web 2 and Web 3 user in this situation? So please go ahead, click on the forum post for a link, read through the introduction, and then give your feedback on that. There's no right or wrong thing. It's just like we would like to hear what you think about this, let's say, problem, right? And we want to solve it properly. So thanks a lot for your contribution.
Cool. Great. So we'll be looking forward to getting more discussion on that post. Moving down the list here, multi-sigs. It looks like Hannah's got a pile of names now in the multi-sigs thread. And she posted an update with all the addresses there. And are there any next steps that we need regarding multi-sigs?
Nope, they're good to go. We deployed them, so we have our addresses, and those are in the update I had sent. And now we just kind of will call on people once we need to do some, any transfer of funds. But for now, it's all good to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think I had a random thought there yesterday when I read it about creating Discord roles for the multi-sig signers, because then whenever we need to sign something, we can just @.
Oh, like in the Google Sheet?
I'm assuming all the people that are on that multi-sig are in our Discord because they're contributors. So it's like cat herding for when something needs to be signed. You can just @ and then send a message to the whole role within our server.
Okay. Yeah.
Just an idea.
Yeah,
cat herding people.
It shouldn't cause any I saw your question this morning just before this call, and I don't think it should cause any security issues. I can just make the roles so where they have no additional permissions, and it's just basically only for tagging.
Cool. Okay. So if that seems reasonable, then maybe Hannah and Ashley can coordinate, and we can just set that up real easy. Okay, great. And then this new PAN payment process seems like we touched on it earlier in the meeting. I don't know if there's any further points that you have to make regarding PAN payments, Hannah.
Sorry, I was unmuted. No, that's no more from me.
Okay, all right. Let's gonna breeze through this till the next one here. Buddy system and work agreements. So if there's any updates that need to happen there, Rochelle, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm just gonna send some reminders because 2021 is nearing its end. So everybody should have at least one buddy review with their buddies. And there's already a guide question. There's a link there in the agenda. And also add vote in the NR Give. So I added a list there for the people who needs to add vote in the NR Give. That's Donna, Mohammed, Ami, Mateo, Monique, Ramin, and Cherk at the moment. So yeah, that's just some reminders. And I'll pass it back to you, Mitch.
Okay, cool. So if your name's there in red with an empty checkbox, submit your work agreement to the NR Give DAO so we can say yes to it.
Is there any kind of a manual for it that we can read and go forward? If you send the link, please.
Regards to which part do you need a manual for?
Add voting DAO for role proposal.
I can show you the one that Danny did, so you have an idea of what to do. Does that work?
Okay, yeah.
It's very easy. You're just linking to the forum post.
I can manage it with the div. I think all of these, contributors are in the div circle. If you can please send a link to the div group, I think
sure.
You can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll help you with that. That's no problem. Give liquidity mining spec. It looks like it went up to a vote. 9 or 10 people voted on it. It seemed like a decisive yes for the liquidity mining spec. Unless a bunch of people still haven't voted and are going to vote now, this is pretty much done. I don't think there's any more discussion that needs to be had about it. It's been up for a while. So that's it. If you haven't voted on it, go ahead, read the forum thread. It's there in the Notion. And vote if you haven't. Otherwise, this is going to go through as is. Okay. And then this last point here, well, we're at the last, we're so good. Personal projects and verification, I don't think we need to do anything for this except for that last action item for you, Ashley. To update the dialogue / copy and communication.
Yeah, it's just in the application form. So I just changed the wording a little bit to be a little bit more inclusive.
Okay. This is done then?
Yep, you could check that off.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, I mean, that's it. We've gone through the list. And so we've got a couple action items just to put up your work agreements. We'll create some forum posts to get more discussion and advice process. And that should pretty much it. Is there anything that anyone has that they feel they need to discuss and that they want to talk about in this meeting here? Okay. Well then, great. We'll just do a quick popcorn round then. If anyone wants to add just a single word of how they're feeling, we'll go around. And then after that, we can close the meeting early. So I'll start with myself. I'm feeling up to date. And I'll pass it to Monique.
I feel like a little bit deformed and totally distracted. Thank you. I pass it on to Donna.
I feel synced up with everyone and also excited for the forum post for all others' contribution on the account, the sign-in process. And I would pass it to Marco.
Thanks, Donna. I feel connected and updated. I passed it over to Kai.
Updated and hungry. I give it to Forrest, who I haven't seen in a long time.
I feel distracted by breastfeeding.
Right, congratulations.
Thank you. And I will pass it to Mosaid.
I'm feeling updated and a little bit more informed about what's going on here. I pass it to Mia.
Thank you. I feel synced. I'll pass it to Ashley.
Yeah, I am feeling okay. And I'll pass it to Mateo.
I feel ready and hungry. I'll pass it to Freshel.
I feel excited, and I think everyone went. I'm not sure if I missed them.
Hannah?
Yeah, feeling bittersweet but excited. Now I think everyone is gone.
I think we got everybody there. So that's great. I mean, we did it. So we'll end this meeting 5 minutes early, and then I think Monique, you're up next with the DAPS call.
It's on vacation.
Yeah. So everyone, take a quick break, get up, move around, and if you're going to be in the dev call, we'll see you there in 5 minutes.
See ya. Goodbye.
Everybody, have a good day.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.